Action!
There is still a demon in my basement. That's him. I've heard that you need to know a demon's name in order to exorcise them, but I have no clue how to get them to tell me. Whenever I come down here, I think of a piece of advice that was given to me when I was so new to this whole ghost thing that I carried a rosary and holy water with me every time I came down here. I was told that ice cream and laughter are the best antidotes to a dark presence. So I named all my demons after food. There's kimchi and biscuits and gravy and corn dog, and caviar lives in this room. And this is their boss, red pepper pasta, named after my favorite dish. Linguine covered with a sauce made from sauteed onions and garlic and roasted red peppers and goat cheese all kind of blended together with a whole lot of garlic and just enough spice. Like most people, COVID kind of derailed my life. I was still making money, but I didn't know how long that would last. So I decided to come home. Back to the demon house. It was a rational decision, and overall I consider myself to be a rational person. And it's really hard to explain to people who view you as a rational person that you see ghosts, and that you talk to them, and that you care for them. I've always kind of wondered how this whole ghost thing was going to end. I knew a lot more when I came back than I knew when I left. And since I'd started learning about the history of the house, about the ghosts, they had become more visceral, more physical, more angry. I didn't feel like I was done learning the whole story, but I felt like I had to do something if I was going to live here again. When a friend of mine heard that I was coming back, she told me about a friend of hers who does remote exorcisms. He was like some kind of spiritualist reverend in Illinois. And I liked that he was spiritualist and not some kind of fundamentalist Christian, so that he wouldn't criticize me for talking to the dead in the first place. And he could do it remotely during COVID, so that was perfect. So I called this guy, and I spent probably 2 hours chatting with him late at night. And he agreed to cleanse the house. I told him about the grave and the little boy who died on the tracks in 1946, and all the weird dreams I'd been having, and all the things I had seen kind of lurking in the corners. And, you know, the kicker isn't the conversation I had with him. It's that when I asked him about his exorcisms, he told me he does something a little bit different. He told me a story about basically a boss demon, like red pepper pasta. And when this demon was asked what his purpose was, he said to F them up. Them meaning us. Now, the good reverend was pretty experienced in this, so he knew to separate this guy from all of his demonic cronies or whatever before he tried to talk to him. But once he got him on his own, he asked him, you know, if you could choose light, why wouldn't you? And this demon basically said, you know, I'm not worthy, and if I'm gonna be this terrible thing anyway, why don't I just own it? So, the good reverend called forth somebody who had loved this demon when he was alive. And then he called forth someone, the families of those that he had hurt. And this evil demon, this red pepper pasta, started crying. And the light came into him, and the Reverend said that his entire being changed. Everybody goes to the light, he said. Everybody. There will be no exorcism. Exorcising a demon is just like dumping toxic waste on a community far away so you don't have to look at it. It doesn't solve anything. In order to really solve the problem, you have to bring them into the fold. Communication. That dangerous art that's terrified humanity for thousands of years. You're not supposed to communicate with evil spirits. You're not supposed to communicate with criminals, or with sex workers, or with hunchbacks, or with people who have done terrible things, people who believe differently than you do, with people who are rude, offensive, or disgusting. You know, I wanted to banish him. I wanted an ending where I would come up with some fantastic magic that would cleanse whatever ancient magic was here, and I would beat him, and he would be gone, and bonus points if I could prove that it all was real. All I could think of were all those nights that I laid awake breathing air that I just felt like had thick evil in it so much that it almost choked me, all the times I felt demons rushing through me, all the bad dreams, all the sleep I lost. The good Reverend told me one other thing. He said that he doesn't think the ghosts were after the house at all. Apparently, when you see ghosts, you kind of light up for them. You become kind of like a weird surrogate light that they go to when they can't or won't go to the actual light. He said that it will always be this way, no matter where I go. I can turn it off if I want to. I can slam the door, but I don't think I have that in me. We are creatures of light. But that doesn't mean we're meant to live in light. Light can only shine in the darkness. That's where I'm meant to be.